to this point, everything has been about building and governing the system. Your body learned how to bear force without collapse. It learned how to access force in the correct order. It learned how to transmit without loss. It learned how to allow it under real stress, and it learned how to see movement clearly and without distortion. It learned the laws of physics that constrained every action. All of that work answers one question: what is possible? Chapter 7 answers a harder one. What actually happens when time disappears? Combat is not decided by how many options you possess. It's decided by bandwidth, how much information your system can process and act on without delay. When pressure rises, the system does not fail because it lacks technique. It fails because it cannot decide cleanly. Chapter 7 exists to explain why. Strategy in this context is not cleverness or planning. It's economy. The human system can only process a limited amount under threat. Every option consumes time. Every unnecessary movement consumes energy. Every wasted correction narrows perception. This is why hesitation appears even in highly trained fighters. Not fear, overload. Chapter 7 reframes strategy as a governance of perception, energy, and tempo, not memorization or tactical planning. Perception comes first. The experienced fighter does not see more than the beginner. They see less. They filter aggressively. They ignore what does not matter. They narrow attention to what actually changes the outcome. This is not broad awareness. It's deliberate selection. When everything appears important, nothing can be acted on decisively. Governance begins by removing what systems cannot afford to process. Energy management follows. Here, energy is not a condition alone. It is a cost. Every action taxes structure, nervous system, and connective tissue. Waste accumulates quietly. When costs rise, decision quality degrades long before exhaustion is visible. This is why frantic movement destroys clarity, why effort-heavy exchanges produce panic, why calm fighters appear unhurried under pressure. They are not passive, they are economical. Chapter 7 makes clear that decision-making is inseparable from movement quality. Poor mechanics increases cost, and increased cost reduces bandwidth. Reduced bandwidth delays action. Hesitation is not a mental weakness. It's a systemic debt. Reflex conditioning emerges here. Decisions that matter rely only on conscious thought under pressure. They must be embedded through repetition that reduces noise and preserves clarity. This is not automation for speed. This is automation for reliability. When organization is correct, action occurs without internal debate. Tempo is the final expression of this system. Tempo is not speed. It is control of when things happen. The practitioner who governs tempo governs the exchange, not by rushing, but stabilizing their own system while disrupting the timing of another. Tempo reveals internal order. Fast movement can be chaotic, and deliberate movement can be decisive. Only one remains consistent under pressure. Chapter 7 completes that arc of this book. It shows that decision-making is not layered on top of biomechanics. It emerges from it. A system that can bear force, manage loads, filter perception, and respect physical laws will always act sooner and with less cost. This is why mastery appears simple. Not because the fight is easy, but because the system is clean. Chapter 7 does not give you better ideas. It removes what interferes with good decisions. And once decisions no longer cost stability, effort, or clarity, something fundamental changes. You stop reacting blindly. You stop forcing outcomes. You stop fighting yourself. This is where the path leads next. Because when decision-making stabilizes under pressure, the body stops operating as a separate systems. It becomes a single living architecture. This is where